Hi, everyone. Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. You know who it is. It's dark. It's after hours. We're hanging out in the shadows. And, yeah. It's time for the weekly track roundup. Oh my God, the weekly track roundup, where I go over what I felt were the best and the worst tracks of the week. You know what it is. We do it every week. I have to shout out the good people over at SeatGeek for sponsoring this video. SeatGeek is an app that aggregates tickets to live events from all over the web to make ticket buying simple. They put a 0 to 100 score on each ticket to let you know if you're getting a good deal or a bad one. Green is good, red is bad. And their in-app view from Seat lets you see where you were going to sit. Enter code DROP, D-R-O-P, to get $20 off your first order. Click the link in the description down below to download the app. Support the people that support this segment. And also over here we have the melon shirt, which is still available. TheNeedleDrop.com/support. It's down there in the description box. Just pictures of melons designed by Trevor Yardley Jones. No images of me on this shirt. Just images of melons. Available for a limited time only, of course, like most of our shirts. So get it while you can. And let's get into the weekly track roundup. We have our Amazon and Turntable Lab associate links down there in the description as well. Turntable Lab is a great site where they have colorful vinyl pressings of records that I've reviewed on my channel, as well as turntable stuff, speakers, audio equipment for your budding record collector friend or yourself. Treat yourself if you use that link and you buy stuff from there. We get kickback from it. And also want to shout out the band Dead Cross featuring Mike Patton, who I reviewed on the channel before. They have a new EP out, which you can stream over at Bandcamp, which I believe is via Ipecac Records, if I'm not mistaken. You can give their stuff a shot, their new stuff. If you didn't know, their last album was a really awesome blend of avant-garde rock and metal and hardcore punk music. It was actually a pretty decent record. A little annoying at times, but it had some great tracks on it. And let's get into the worst tracks. This week was a pretty hefty week for worst tracks. There were quite a few worst tracks. First off, the new Tanya Tagaq track featuring Damian Abraham of the band Fucked Up. They have come together on this new single and have dropped a cover of the Iron Maiden song Run to the Hills. Let's just say their respective vocal styles coming together. As much as I do enjoy some of Tanya's solo stuff, hearing them come together on one single Iron Maiden cover, it doesn't do the original much justice. It's a little obnoxious. It's kind of interesting while it's on, but it's nothing I'm ever going to be revisiting ever again. Moving on from there, Tabasko Sweet. From the Super Deluxe brand. You may have seen him doing some cool DIY stuff. He has a new music video out with Frank to the Jav to the C, who does production on his new track Finessin'. I'm putting this in the worst section because I hope I can beef with Tabasko Sweet. Dude, I hate you. You're a bad person. You're garbage. And your song is doo-doo poo-poo doo-doo. And it's a total banger, and the lyrics are hilarious, and you seem like a really nice person. But I hate you, and I hope you get indigestion. All right, moving on from there, there's going to be a Superfly reboot, and of course, a new soundtrack attached to that. There is a new track out with PARTYNEXTDOOR and Future titled No Shame. Now, of course, because PARTYNEXTDOOR, I'm not crazy about the guy's music, but he can actually sing pretty decently, and he's singing all over this track. And because you have a person on here who actually has some decent singing chops, it just feels like Future has to try to play keep up with him and the fact that he can sing. So he's kind of crooning all over the track. And if you know anything about Future, you know that he can't sing. So yeah, it's just PARTYNEXTDOOR and Future just kind of like bad auto-tune bukkake all over a generic beat. It's basically auditory torture for a few minutes. Again, not entirely at the feet of PARTYNEXTDOOR am I laying the problems with this track. It's mostly Future, and I guess the soundtrack is produced by Future. Jesus Christ, is this about to be a train wreck? Probably. La di da di da, slap aminab. Moving on from there, this new Dirty Projectors track titled Break-Thru is one of the most horrendous songs released under the Dirty Projectors name. I feel like as I listen to the song that there's a cool, fun, catchy, creative tune at the core of this track. And this is a total 180 from some of the smoother and more R&B influenced sounds of the last Dirty Projectors record. So I guess it's welcome that there is a change of pace, but God, this seems like everything that was ever awful and annoying originally about Dirty Projectors condensed into one of the most obnoxious songs that has ever been under the DP name. And why is that? I should probably get to that. It's really kind of mostly due to the production of the track, like the weird fuzzed out guitar lines. It's just so off kilter and chaotic and unlikable. I just don't really know what to say about it other than that. It's just horrendously abrasive and just really unlikable sonically. It just seems like it's trying too hard to sound weird. And as a result, just is quite annoying. And I'm just gonna leave it at that, I guess. Hopefully subsequent songs are better. This new Christina Aguilera song, though it is not anywhere near as experimental as that Dirty Projector song, it's about as much of a mess. It's featuring 2 Chainz and Ty Dolla $ign, although they don't really have much to do with why the song is terrible. It's really just kind of the horrendous production and beat and rhythm in this song. Like, it just sounds like a total mess between Christina's kind of jutting pronounced vocals and just the really zany instrumental. The song never really reaches a point of true resolve. It's just always really tense and kind of off kilter and not really in a good way. Yeah, I don't really know if there's much to say about it outside of that. It just sounds like a total mess. I don't know if Christina was intending to go as experimental as she did on this track. It just sort of sounds like an experimental mistake. But I guess I admire her for trying something different and trying to sort of stay updated, I suppose. Moving on from there, Chuchesta, new song, Slap Chop. It's utter trash. Features production from Evo Exilium. And it sucks. It's garbage. It sounds kind of like a blown out, weird take on some of that, recent, very distorted SoundCloud rap stuff. It just sucks. Moving on from there. Here's a horrendous cover of Moon River, I guess for the Tiffany Company, featuring Elle Fanning and ASAP Ferg. Like, who in what marketing room concocted this idea? I don't know, but they should most likely be fired because this is terrible. And it not only does it sound awful, but it doesn't do the original song any sort of justice. I'm telling you, man, there were a lot of worse tracks this week. All right, let's move on to songs that I wasn't super insane about, but they weren't bad. Parquet Courts, Mardi Gras Beads, not quite as funky or as hard-hitting as some of their other recent material, but it's a decent kind of dejected, slow indie rock burner. Sounds like a track that'll probably grow on me more in the track list itself. It's not terrible. It's okay. Moving on from there, Natalie Prass has a new single out, a new album on the way. The song is titled Lost, and it's decent. I mean, I guess I'm sort of at a bit of a loss as to what to say like I was with her last record. I just feel like she is yet to reach a point where she really has a clear sound or delivery or personality. The tune is fine. The production is pretty sweet. But again, she's not really an artist who I feel like I could easily pick out of a lineup. I just don't really know what exactly her sound or angle is. Again, I just kind of feel a little lost when it comes to Natalie Prass stuff. It doesn't seem to have that strong of a sense of direction or a definitive, I don't know, style. But, it's a nice little sweet, kind of soulful, sad piano ballad. Next, Jimmy Eat World has a couple of new tracks out that, are nice, catchy, pop rock, slightly emo-tinged, slow burners that aren't too bad. Next, Future Islands have a new song out. It's an Adult Swim single, so obviously, don't expect it to be one of their best songs in a long time or anything like that. It's titled Calliope. It's a little lo-fi in comparison to a lot of their recent material, but still, the synths are there and the beats are there and those gruff lead vocals are there and very dramatic as usual. It's a nice little track. And moving on from there, Death Grips have a new track out titled Streaky. And it's the first single from their forthcoming record, Year of the Snitch. And to be honest, I mean, outside of the very polyrhythmic beat, which is pretty funky, I find the track to be kind of boring. In a way, it's kind of like one of the more low-key cuts, kind of like a Get Got, where you have Ride rapping in a much more somber and just low-key tone. Not quite as, aggressive or anything like that, which, it's actually cool when Death Grips does a track like that every once in a while, because it does provide some good counterpoint to the more aggressive cuts. And typically they tend to throw in maybe some more thoughtful or introspective lyrics on these more low-key cuts. But that didn't really seem to be the case on this new track over here. It just felt like kind of absurdist and underwhelming. I mean, it's okay. Maybe I'll like it a little bit more on the album itself. But again, outside of the beats, outside of that rhythm on the track, it just didn't really do much for me. The whole streaky hook just kind of fell really flat for me. I don't know. Hopefully they really pull through on this record, but I wasn't too crazy about this cut. Wasn't too crazy about it. And finally, in this section, I think we're talking about Big Ups over here. We have one more, but the band Big Ups, they have a new track out, which is linked down there below in the description, along with everything else I'm talking about here. The song is titled Imaginary Dog Walker. I kind of feel like the band has fallen back on that slit worship a little bit more on this new cut over here. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. And finally, I think we're talking about Bad Baby, or, the Cash Me Outside girl. She has a new song out featuring Little Yachty with a music video attached to it, which kind of talks, or rather portrays her as a bad influence and that sort of thing. It's a banger. It's a decent trap banger. Yeah, I find her tracks really fun, but sometimes I just find her music videos a little annoying. But still, it's a decent cut. I feel like too many people just hate on her for doing what she's doing, despite the fact that she is living up to the bar that most of her contemporaries are setting. Like most of these SoundCloud dudes and most of these trap dudes, they're not writing songs that are any deeper than this, and the production on this thing is pretty hard. I mean, it's not as, I guess memorable as High Bitch, but the Yachty feature's decent. The instrumental's pretty good. And she has a bar or two on here that are kind of sticky. And let's move on to the best tracks, the tracks that really were sticking with me this week. Handful of very good tracks this week. Good crop of best tracks. Let's start off. This new Travis Scott track over here featuring Kanye West and Lil Uzi Vert is actually one of Travis's best songs in a while, I feel, which is actually great because pretty much every Lucy track he's been dropping since he put out Rodeo, whole Birds in the Trap thing, everything he's been dropping just felt like it was just runoff from that album, just really generic, not trying as much. This new song over here, while it's pretty firmly a Travis track, I wouldn't say he's reinventing the wheel or kind of evolving heavily on this song too much, but it doesn't sound like something he's done before a couple of times. Lil Uzi Vert and Kanye, I think, bring a lot to the song. Travis's presence isn't as strong on the track as I think those two voices are, but still, it's got kind of a fruity, interesting instrumental. It's not quite as dark or as cavernous as the typical Travis Scott is. And, all around, I just think it's kind of a fun, futuristic, cutting-edge trap banger with, kind of some artsy qualities to it. Moving on from there, this new Protomartyr track, a band who I think is doing some very cutting-edge and forward-thinking things with the sounds of post-punk. They have a new EP on the way. The song is titled Wheel of Fortune, and it's one of the most harrowing, heavy, and despondent songs I think the band has ever dropped. Just some really rough guitars on here. And typically from Protomartyr, you can expect some vocals that are very poetic, very low down and just spiraling into this cavern of depression. And this song is no exception with that. I would actually say it's one of their most emotionally traumatizing songs they've ever dropped. So do not miss out on this track if you're kind of into their sound, you've enjoyed their previous releases. Moving on from there is a new supergroup, which is, they're not the first supergroup apparently named this, but there is a new supergroup featuring Sia, Labrinth, and Diplo They're calling themselves LSD. They have a new song out titled Genius, and it's a fantastic little mainstream pop track with Sia's vocals killing it, Labrinth laying down some really great vocals onto it. Love the fruity, catchy instrumental. Hopefully they can kind of keep it up for a full-length album. This will definitely be one of the most exciting Diplo related projects in a while, because I feel like a lot of Major Lazer stuff has kind of just been growing stale as of late. I feel like he needs to do something, I don't know, just kind of change things up, just kind of evolve into a different direction, because I feel like Major Lazer's sound, it had a time, it had a place, it had a moment, whereas what I think they're doing here seems much more cutting edge in the realm of pop and dance music as well. So I don't know. I just hope to hear more from these guys in the near future, because this is just this is pretty on point. Moving on from there, the new Florence and the Machine track, which for whatever reason kind of reminds me of that that live song. What is it? The Crashing Lightning track or something? The angel closes her eyes. It's actually not that bad of a track. It's titled Hunger. And again, what I'm liking about this song is it feels like the band is a little bit more dynamic this time around. They're using more subtle moments to build up to these heavy, passionate tracks, and it's just all around a great tune, a great performance, really thrilling, really exciting, just those heartstrings getting pulled. And yeah, the performance is really good too. Production is classy. You hear a lot of nice thrust from the instrumentation, a lot of epic ambient sound around the instrumentation. Just sounds really good. Moving on from there, oh God! Oh my God, is this the... No, this is the second to last one. Yeah, we have a couple more left, but oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Childish Gambino is back. He did a little SNL performance of a few new tracks, but he dropped a new music video for this song titled This Is America, and holy shit! Holy shit! Holy shit! Holy shit! I could not... I'm still processing this. This is fucking awesome. This is the best single he's ever dropped. This is maybe his best song, period. Like, not only is he embracing that whole banger trap sound, but he's doing something political with it. He's doing something forward thinking with it. The way he kind of blends those primal rhythms with some of that trap bass and some other hip hop production elements on the verses, mixes in a little bit of social commentary. It just sounds really dark. It's really visceral. And then he'll sort of transition into these more hype moments, these brighter moments where you have, you know, group singing, and it's maybe a little bit of gospel influence or soul influence or something like that. And juxtaposed with the music video, it's obviously some kind of commentary on ignorance being bliss. And, you know, we have these moments where we're happy and things are fine and things are great, and then we kind of transition back into these darker spots. You know, I'm blown away by the song. The song sounds great. I love the structure of the track. I love the way we kind of transition with these different sounds. I love what Donald is saying on the track. But the music video just really kind of makes it all come back home. Like the gunshot moments, like it's just such incredibly sharp fucking commentary. And part of the reason that I think it's such sharp commentary is that it's uncomfortable commentary. Like, not a lot of people who see this, even people who agree with the message of the song, I don't think are going to sit through this music video, we're going to sit through this track without squirming at least a little bit. So you know, when something is good commentary and it's making you squirm, when a piece of art is making you squirm and making you kind of uncomfortable in a way, when it's kind of either satirizing or trying to point something out that's very urgent, I think that's when it's doing its job. And I think Donald does a fantastic job of that on this song. It's just an all-around a great track, and it has me super hype for what he's going to be doing in the near future. I'm glad he's sticking with the Childish Gambino name. I'm glad he's changing things up past his last record, as much as I did enjoy things going in that kind of funk and soul direction. I wasn't as nuts about that dancier, groovier disco type track that he did on NSL, that he performed on SNL, but you know, maybe the studio version is going to sound better. Studio version might sound better. Typically, I think live performances on SNL sound kind of flat and not that interesting, but you know, I'm open to hearing what the studio version has to offer on that. But This Is America, holy shit! Like, there were a few points, especially when, I don't want to spoil the music video if you haven't seen it already, but you know, that second moment when he has the fully automatic, and my jaw fucking dropped at that part. I was like, What? That was, it's heavy. It's a heavy ass music video. It's a heavy ass song. And I will leave it at that. It's a tough act to follow, but still, I do want to praise the new Beach House track over here. It's titled Black Car. And I'm liking the more experimental direction Beach House has been taking these new tracks in. This new song over here is maybe one of their most drony and psychedelic yet. It's not quite the lighthearted dream pop, the lighthearted and romantic dream pop that we know from the duo. It's a little subversive, it's a little surreal, and I'm just kind of liking the enveloping sound that they've been crafting on this one. The song isn't quite as catchy as maybe some people might be expecting from Beach House typically, but still all around is some cool production and some great washy, trippy sounds. And I'm going to leave it at that. Again, that was a weekly track roundup. Thank you guys very much for watching. Again, the good people over SeatGeek sponsored this. Melon shirts still available at the time of me posting this video. And again, all the tracks I talked about are linked down there in the description box. I hope that you got some good recommendations out of this video. And love you, love you, love you, love you, love you, love you, love you. Over here next to my head is another video you can check out. I'll see you guys in the next one. For